they did in the draft. And I am looking at Sports Illustrated's website. I will also give you the grade that they gave to each team. Excuse me, but we will talk first about the Buffalo Bills. So, starting off great, they drafted Stephon Diggs in the first round. But for real, their draft, I think, just A.J. Epinesa, defensive end from Iowa. That defense last year, the first half of that playoff game against the Texans, they were just fucking eating and eating and eating. And then the pass rush just couldn't get to Deshaun Watson. A.J. Epinesa obviously fills a void for them. Imagine how disgusting this running back combination is going to be when you have Devin Singletary and Zach Moss in the backfield. Gabriel Davis, the dude fucking caught everything thrown his way at Central Florida. The biggest shock, in my opinion, Jake Fromm, drafted in the 5th round, the quarterback from Georgia. I thought he had Patriots written all over. Tyler Bass, the kicker from Georgia Southern. Isaiah Hodgins, wide receiver from Oregon State, which I didn't know that they played football. Just kidding, they just suck. And Dane Johnson, the corner from Pittsburgh. So overall, really filled a lot of fucking needs. That defensive end position, A.J. Epinesa, obviously not the number one guy, but he's there. You need it, take him. Great pick. Like I said, Zach Moss and fucking Devin Singletary and Zach Moss coming out of that backfield. Oh my God, that's going to give teams with good defenses nightmares. Because if one of them's not working, the other one will. All right.
Hopefully they both are and keep them guessing.
Exactly. Gabriel Davis, like I said, at Central Florida, especially the last year, you had fucking Dylan Gabriel just fucking throwing up prayers, and somehow it always seemed to find his hands and he'd catch it. Gabriel Davis, solid pickup in the 4th round. Jake Fromm, I don't know where he fits, like I said. A kicker. Did the Bills really need a kicker? Like, don't they have Steven Hauschka?
Yeah. I mean, Hauschka's getting up there. Fromm, I suspect is competition for Allen. You know, he's shown some good things, but accuracy has been an issue. So, you know, maybe they feel he's someone that needs a fire lit under him.
Maybe. Then the last 2 picks, Hodgins and Jackson, both good pickups. The way I'm grading these drafts is, first and foremost, did they fill a need? Second, the need that they did fill, did they fill it well? And third, do I just not hate that fucking person? Which could be most important. Now, Sports Illustrated gives the Bills a belly drum roll, a B. What an underwhelming fucking grade for such a good draft. A B? Really? Really, you assholes? You give a B. My God. Is it just me, or does that seem really low?
I was going to ask really why you picked Sports Illustrated in the first place. Who gives a crap that they think, really?
Because when I Googled this 20 minutes before we went on air, it was the easiest thing I could find.
Right, even though they're trash.
Yeah. So. Tony, unfortunately, couldn't be with us tonight, but he did give his grades for the AFC and NFC East, and he gave the Bills a B+. I still feel that's a little under where it should be. I would give the Bills an A-. Just because, like I said, they identified positions that they needed. I feel like they got hurt because they didn't have a first-round draft pick with people's grades. But they identified the need, just like I'm identifying the need of whatever that vibration is needs to stop. They identified their needs. They filled it. They filled it with quality. Only one questionable pick, in my opinion, in the entire draft. Do they have the best draft? No. Could they have done better? Obviously. But I feel that they were at least an A- in this draft.
Yeah. That's definitely fair. I was gonna say A, but A- is right there.
Well, I mean, the reason I give an A- is looking at the team. I like the AJ Epinesa and Zach Moss picks. Gabriel Davis. Do I think that he's going to be there? Was he the best option at wide receiver left? No, I think Donovan Peoples-Jones, who was still there when they picked, would be better. So maybe if you have Donovan Peoples-Jones, and then maybe you add a linebacker instead of Jake Fromm in the 5th round, maybe then it gets bumped up to an A. But drafting Fromm and taking Gabriel Davis, who, don't get me wrong, I really, really like Gabriel Davis. I just don't think that he was the best wide receiver available at the time they were drafting. That's what keeps them from getting an A, in my opinion. But you're the Bills fan. What do you think?
I'm happy with, how they did. I was kind of a little bit, I really didn't understand the Fromm pick too much, but, as you say, maybe that is setting the benchmark now for Allen to get his game together and see where that goes. The fact that they add an extra weapon in the backfield, that should be promising, granted everybody stays healthy. It seems like they really address a little bit of every aspect they needed of the team. They had a new wideout, and staying healthy, that should be a dangerous offense. Sure.
Yeah, I agree. Dan O'Shea, what do you think about the Bills draft? I know they're not your favorite team, you being a Jets fan.
I thought they did well. I was around a B+, A- on it. I think they, as you said, could have found better value. Very very similar to what we'll get to in the Jets draft. With a quarterback and a kicker. The Jets had a punter, and I kind of get it, but I also think you could have gone with a better need there. The Bills, especially, in my opinion, are looking to be a win now team. So I don't get wasting a pick on a quarterback or a future kicker, unless they could cut Hauschka. Now that they have a new kicker, if they trust him. So maybe that's like a cap consideration type thing. So maybe that'll make more sense in the off season. But that does bring it down for me. But it was a really solid draft. Most of the AFC East and NFC East did well, as we'll get to, and a couple teams didn't.
Yeah, and we will get to that, but are you guys ready to move on to the Miami Dolphins?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so we are moving on to the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins did have a pick in the first round, and with the 5th pick in the first round, Miami Dolphins selected Tua Tagovailoa, who, for whatever reason, analysts want to put a fucking N in his name. It's not Tagovailoa. There's no N. It's Tua Tagovailoa. Do you guys notice that too?
Maybe everyone got used to saying tank for Tua and just mix it up.
Maybe, perhaps. But the Dolphins had like 600 picks. They had.
That's what they're going to do. Tank, so it makes makes perfect sense.
They had 3 picks in the first fucking round. 2 in the second, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, 1 in the sixth, and 1 in the seventh. All right. Obviously, their first pick, they had number 5. They took Tua, quarterback from Alabama. With their second first-round pick at 18, they picked Austin Jackson, the tackle from USC, replacing Laramie Tunsil. Right there. With their third pick in the first round at number 30, they went with Noah from Auburn, the corner. Does anyone know how to say his name? Igbinogin? I can't. I can't do it. Corner from Auburn. With their first pick in the second round, they went with tackle from Louisiana, Robert Hunt. And their second round pick, number 56 overall, they went with Raekwon Davis, the defensive tackle from Alabama. Their third round pick, number 70, took Brandon Jones, the safety from Texas. The fourth round pick at 111, they took Solomon Kindley, the guard from Georgia, the buddy to the guy that the Giants drafted, which we'll talk about in a little bit. The first pick in the fifth round at 154, they took Jason Strowbridge, the defensive end from North Carolina. With their second fifth-round pick, they took Curtis Weaver, the defensive end from Boise State. With their sixth-round pick, they took Blake Ferguson, the center from LSU. And with their seventh-round pick, number 246, they took Malcolm Perry, wide receiver from Navy. Now, one thing I just want to point out, they took a tackle in the first round, a tackle in the second round, a guard in the fourth round, a center in the sixth round. They drafted a brand new offensive line. An entire offensive line, basically. And then, they also took, with back-to-back picks, pick number 154 and 164, defensive ends. Like, they were going line fucking heavy in this draft. Will it work out for them? They've got a decent wide receiving core, Devontae Parker. Their secondary is looking pretty good. Xavier Howard, Byron Jones. Then you add the Brandon Jones, the safety from Texas. I feel like they were in the best position to really rebuild their team in the draft. And I think we saw pretty much immediately what they wanted to do, and they did it using their first three of their first four picks on offense with Tua, Austin Jackson, and Robert Hunt. A little bit of confusion taking Noah Igbinogin, the corner from Auburn, because, like I said, they have Xavier Howard and Byron Jones. Unless they plan on playing Byron Jones at safety, then that makes sense. But when you've got the two highest paid corners in the NFL, why are you drafting a third? Doesn't make any sense. I mean, I don't know what they really did wrong outside of drafting that corner, when I feel like they could have got better at a position like wide receiver there, or added another running back. Because do we think Ballage is really going to be their star running back? Do we think he's even going to be their backup? They did go out and make the trade for
garbage and fantasy.
What's the guy's name? The running back from the 49ers.
Breida.
Yeah. Yep. Breida. They did go out and get Breida, so that's going to help. But I just feel like a guy like J.K. Dobbins really could have helped with the pick number 39 or even pick number 30. Could really have worked really well there. Again, taking that corner didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Sports Illustrated gives them a B-. I think they did a little bit better based on my grading scale of did they fill needs, did they fill it with quality, and do I just